8:15 this morning, Aaron Rodgers still a Packer. May remain that way or may end up elsewhere. One team you won't find him playing for next season, the Cleveland Browns. Insider Mary Kay Cabot reporting Cleveland not interested in trading for future MVP Aaron Rodgers, a future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers, ecstatic with where Baker is right now, quote, happy he has turned the corner. But Nick, would Baker for Rodgers make sense for both teams when you really think about it?
Oh, Jenna, what a great question. Listen, sometimes trades in the NFL are complicated. Do you guys remember when I tried to create a 4-team super trade involving Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Jimmy Garoppolo? I don't even remember what the 4th team was. I think it was the Jets. We had to have draft picks flying from one team to a third team. So it's complicated, right? Sometimes trades are very easy. We'll trade you our quarterback for your quarterback. No draft picks, no future compensation, 1 for 1. And I would argue for both of these franchises, this makes a ton of sense. If you're the Browns, you have won 1 playoff game in 25 years. You have never been to a Super Bowl. And this would give you a brilliant opportunity over the next 4 years to go to and win a Super Bowl. Worry about the future. In the here and now, you would be neck and neck with the Chiefs for the favorites to win the whole thing. If you're Rodgers, I would argue this would be the best roster you have ever been on. And if you're the Browns, you probably quietly have a little trepidation about giving Baker Mayfield a $40 million a year contract extension, which I think pretty soon is what you're going to have to do. On the flip side, if you're the Packers, this is the absolute best you could possibly do. A former #1 overall pick coming off his best season of his career where he won a playoff game, who is about to get a new contract but has not yet gotten one. He is almost 12 years younger than Rodgers. Let you reset the clock on that and get it going with Baker for the next decade. What you hoped Jordan Love could be, Baker Mayfield actually would be. And then you get rid of Jordan Love. So for all those reasons, Brandon, I don't know why you're laughing. I mean, there's how many quarterbacks won a playoff game last year? Because Baker's on that list. Like, damn near won 2. Well, he did. I mean, he did. He won as many playoff games as Lamar. He won as many playoff games the last year, or won only 1 fewer than Josh Allen. Like, I thought he had a great season. Thought he played well in the postseason. So for both sides, Brandon, I think this trade would make a ton of sense.
Listen, there's a lot of validity behind what you're saying. You know, does Aaron Rodgers wants to be there? You have to figure it out. You have to move on somehow, some way. So there's a lot of validity behind what you're saying. But the reality is there's no trade that makes sense for the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers is the only reason why you're relevant. That's it. There's no Charles Woodson on the other side giving you 10 interceptions and leading the way. There's nobody on that side. That defense is not the Baltimore Ravens with Ray Lewis. It's not the Pittsburgh Steelers when Joey Porter was there and Troy Polamalu. You just don't have anything over there without Aaron Rodgers that's giving you any type of hope to say, you know what, we can still compete. Baker Mayfield, Nick, I mean, yeah, he had a great year. He came out of the sophomore slump and he played phenomenal, right? But they constructed that offense for him not to make mistakes. Just ask his wide receivers, like, why is Odell so frustrated in Cleveland? You think Odell would be frustrated if he had Aaron Rodgers? So this whole Baker Mayfield going to, Green Bay and Devontae Adams will potentially be happy and he can lead the way for the next decade. I'm just not buying it. I need to see more from Baker Mayfield. I need to see him actually own the offense. Let them open up. I don't want to see running the ball 30 times a game. I don't want to see in the biggest moments, we're sitting back and we're trying to figure out how do we throw a bubble screen or jailbreak screen to try to protect our guy from making a huge mistake. So I'm not buying it, Wilds.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot of validity in Nick's argument. Just like there's a lot of validity in that Daenerys underused her dragons. Like, you can make a good case for it, and then you have to be like, oh yeah, I'm living in fantasy world. So good argument about fantasy world, but that's not what's happening. In the real world,
why?
The Browns played this perfectly because Aaron Rodgers is a trap. The trade rumors about Aaron Rodgers are just a way to get your current starting quarterback a little bit upset, because it's not going to happen. So any answer other than we're not interested is the wrong answer. Like, look, my wife doesn't come down and be like, hey, did you hear Bradley Cooper got divorced? You know what? If he was available, I would leave him for you. What? Why would you say that? It's not happening. It's just going to hurt our relationship.
Wow.
So the fact that the Browns are not interested in Aaron Rodgers is the smart move. Are they really? I don't know. But certainly it's the right thing to say. There's no reason to alienate Baker Mayfield coming off the best year of his career, Brandon.
Wow, I just had a flashback. I was beefing with the Chicago Bears. I wanted a new contract. I ended up getting a new contract, a little extension. But it got real, and it got real quick. I was walking through the O'Hara, the Chicago airport. What is it, O'Hara? And I get a call from my agent, and they're like, you know what? The Cleveland Browns they're about to trade for you, or we're hearing that. So I called Phil Emery, the general manager at the time, like, the Cleveland Browns? No, I'll take the contract. Give me the money. keep whatever I'm asking for. The extra, keep it. So, Wiles, what you're saying, it may make sense. You're like, you know what? If you want to move your quarterback and get your quarterback to start facing reality, this could be the way to do it, because it got me in the shape real quick when I heard the Cleveland Browns was trading for me.
Browns
in fairness, I get that, but exactly, Jenna, that's not who the Browns are anymore. And the Browns are, Brandon, tell me if I'm wrong, you love the Browns roster. Your biggest question mark about them is their quarterback. If this trade happened, I think, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but if this trade were to happen, I think you'd probably pick the Browns to win the Super Bowl, or at least be on the very short list of best contenders. Right, all of it.
Did you see the video
what they did in the draft, all of
last
it.
week? He's almost 100% healthy.
And I'll add something else to it. Going from lifestyle-wise, Chicago to Cleveland ain't great. But going from Green Bay to literally almost any American city, it's like, hey, this ain't that bad. Oh, like, hey, they've got a Ruby Tuesdays here. You had to drive 40 minutes to find one of those in Green Bay. What, Wilds? Am I wrong? Show me the lie. It's charming. It's nice.
Cleveland rocks. That's why. Cleveland rocks.
Okay,
yeah. Draft.
Listen,
It's fun.
It's the old Joe Kim Noah, like the old Joe Kim Noah, Brandon, question of, have you ever heard anyone saying I'm going on vacation in Cleveland? The answer is yes. People from Green Bay. They're like, oh man, guess what about Cleveland this year? But aside from that, and so it's a little different than coming from Chicago. Go ahead, Brandon. It's true. Wow.
But here's the problem with this whole discussion, Jenna, is that the Cleveland Browns are saying we're not interested. That's the problem. I mean, they haven't won a Super Bowl. I mean, back in the day when Jim Brown was there, they won some championships, but they haven't won a Super Bowl. For them to come out and say, you know what, we're not interested. We're ecstatic about Baker Mayfield, and we felt like halfway through the year, last year, he took a turn for the better. So this makes no sense to me.
All right, well, I'm with Wild's wife. Bradley Cooper is hot.